On our third dating anniversary, Enzo and I were caught in a cruise ship disaster. I gave him the only life preserver, and I was swallowed by the sea, lost without a trace. 3 years later, after finally recovering from my injuries, I rushed back home, only to walk right into his grand wedding with my so-called sister. Bound by a life debt, he had no choice but to marry me, and resented me ever since. He hated that I'd come between him and the woman he truly loved. Even my own parents accused me of being selfish, of ruining my sister's happiness for life. Under the weight of everyone's coldness and rejection, I became desperate and unhinged. Then, one day, when our family's old enemies came for revenge, he threw himself in front of me and took a knife straight to the heart. Blood gushed out as he used the last of his strength to drag me to safety. "Reina," he rasped, "you saved my life once, and now I've repaid the debt. Just do me one favor, don't come back to haunt me in the next life. All I want is to spend it forever with Selena, just the two of us." My heart tore apart, and I died with that grief. However, when I opened my eyes again, I was back on the day I had crashed their wedding. "Mr. Enzo Lior, do you take Miss Selena Arroway to be your lawfully wedded wife, to love her, honor her, and cherish her, for better or worse, for richer or poorer, in sickness and in health, until death do you part?" The priest's solemn voice reached my ears like an echo from a distant dream. Every guest in the hall turned to look at me, the uninvited guest who had just walked in. "Oh my God, isn't that the Arroway daughter who supposedly died in the shipwreck 3 years ago? How is she still alive? Look at what she's wearing. Poor thing. I heard the groom used to be her fiancé, and they were madly in love. She's not here to stop the wedding, is she? Shoo, keep it down. This is about to get good." Those whispers pulled me out of the haze. I lifted my gaze and saw Enzo on stage, looking tenderly at my so-called sister, Selena Arroway, with whom I was switched at birth. In my previous life, I had charged up the stage like a madwoman, screaming and crying, demanding to know why he had betrayed me, why he was marrying that imposter who had stolen everything that was mine. My parents had rushed over, scolding me sharply. "Reina, stop making a scene. Go home with us now." There had been no joy or surprise in Enzo's eyes at seeing me alive again, only deep, endless disgust. Later, under pressure, he had called off the wedding with Selena and married me instead. But that had only marked the beginning of my nightmare. Selena had fallen into depression, threatening suicide every other day. To comfort her, Enzo had stopped coming home, using endless overtime as an excuse. Until one day, I found out the company dorm he claimed to be staying in was actually Selena's apartment. He had been sleeping in her bed every night while I spent my newlywed days alone in an empty room. Eventually, Selena got pregnant. When I confronted him with her pregnancy report in hand, he looked at me with nothing but revulsion. "Reina Arroway, you already have the title of my wife. What more do you want?" Even my parents began siding with Selena, fussing over her like she was the real daughter. Once, Selena had tumbled down the stairs right in front of me and lost the baby. Without even asking what had happened, Enzo had jabbed a finger at me, shouting, "How could you be so cruel? You should have stayed dead in that ocean. Why come back just to ruin everyone's lives?" That was when I finally understood. They all wished I had never survived. "Reina Arroway," Enzo's voice had rung in my ears even as I lay dying, "you once saved my life, and now I've returned the favor. Just don't come back to haunt me again." This time, I would grant their wishes. I had been about to turn and leave when my mother caught my hand, tears streaming down her face. "Reina, my dear daughter, you're alive. Thank God you're alive." That false affection no longer moved me. Suddenly, Enzo picked up the microphone on stage. "Reina risked her life to save me in the shipwreck. I was heartbroken when I thought she was gone. Now that she's safe and sound, I'm truly happy." He paused, tightening his grip on Selena's hand. "But the past is the past. The woman I love is Selena, and I will never marry anyone out of gratitude." I froze, then slowly let out a mocking smile. "So, he's been reborn too." I gently pushed my parents' hands away and took the microphone from Enzo. "I'm not here to stop the wedding." I turned to Enzo and gave him a faint smile. "Mr. Lior, congratulations to you and Miss Selena Arroway. I only came today to offer my blessing